Ya empieza la de Bandai Namco, ¿eh? Aquí pueden venir cosas guapas. Vamos a ver. Va, el de Dark Pictures. Ya sabíamos que seguramente iban a enseñar algo. Pero a ver si van a enseñar algo nuevo. Ese es el tema. O van a enseñar el tráiler normal y corriente, el que ya hemos visto. Sí, es el mismo, creo, ¿eh? Este lo jugaremos, ¿eh? Los viernes. Los viernes vamos a jugar a este juego. Los viernes de terror.
Brothers in arms, or will it be a case of each man for himself?
Get down! They're up on the ridge! Return fire!
You teeter on the edge of an abyss. Your survival depends on the choices you make. They will be as a compass, guiding you through the unknown.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
What nightmare have these luckless souls fallen into?
You keep lookout.
Look out? Look out for what?
One by one, their lights will be snuffed out.
Este era el 22 de...
Trapped beneath the earth.
El 22 de octubre.
By the void. Will you find the path to salvation?
A ver, supongo que no creo que la hayan modificado.
Or be lost in the darkness forever.
Sí, 22 de octubre. Eso último no...
We're here at Supermassive to talk about the next game in the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes. And I'm joined by exec producer Dan. How you doing?
Hola, Sasa.
Thank you for joining us. Right, so let's start at the very start. We're going to be talking about House of Ashes for most of the interview, but for those that don't know, tell us about the Dark Pictures anthology.
The Dark Pictures is a series of narrative, story-driven, branching horror stories. Each one is standalone. They each tell a different story, completely separated from the others, but within the same universe. So there is
¿Cuántos juegos decían que iban a traer de estos?
Set at the end of the Iraq War in 2003, with links 4,000 years ago that set the story up.
Creo que dijeron que eran bastantes,
so tell us
¿no?
more about the
En plan, cosa de 8 o así.
I suppose, within House of Ashes.
It starts off with a military unit. They've got some new technology that can look for weapons of mass destruction underground. They think they've identified something in the Zagros Mountains in Iraq. And then, as part of that, they come into conflict.
De momento el Man of Medan es el que más me ha gustado. El Interhop me gustó menos. A ver qué tal está este. Seguro que va a estar guapo. Pues esta gente, por lo menos la historia y tal, hace que te tenga en tensión.
Radio contact is lost and they're submerged in this black darkness.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
And then they're going to start hearing things and seeing things, and people are going to start disappearing.
What the just happened?
So this time it's a very real threat.
All of the Dark Pictures games, they all pull something from real life or from history, from fact. What's the case with the myth or historical part of House of Ashes?
So we love looking at and reading myths and legends and stories and doing our research, and we know our fans love it as well because there's something that they can link into afterwards, and I love doing that when I'm playing games or watching movies myself. So this one's set 4,000 years ago, the Akkadian Empire, and this terrible evil that happened. We had this self-proclaimed god king, Naram Sin, and he essentially cursed his people. He sacked this temple.
Esto es nuevo, ¿eh? Estas imágenes no las había visto.
And devastation to his own people.
La de este año no ha sido un pelín floja. Sí. Para mí ha valido la de Microsoft y la de y la primera, la del Game Fast, la del Summer Game Fast.
At the end of the sneak peek, the trailer, we saw monsters. Tell us a bit more about what's going on there.
The military unit that you're playing as, they don't really know what they're coming up against.
El resto no ha valido para nada. De momento, a ver qué tal
The
está.
team aren't going to know if there's one or two of them. or hundreds or thousands of them, and that's kind of the threat with this. You know, they've got guns. Maybe they could try and take one.
Pero sí, está bastante floja.
But maybe there's another one around the corner, or maybe there's a group of them.
Anuncios importantes no ha habido tantos.
Exactly, yeah, a nest, as it were.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to work on and see these things move around and how horrific they can be. They're different to us. They perceive the world in a different way. Getting little snippets of it in the darkness.
Yo lo único raiden que recuerdo así de hype, el Elden Ring, el Lost Ark y luego el Age of Empire 4 también. Para mí esos tres. El Age of Empire 4 había menos hype porque ya se sabía la fecha, en verdad. O sea, quiero decir, habían dicho que iba a ser para 2021. Entonces se sabía que iban a enseñar algo, ¿sabes? En plan, o iban a decir fecha o iban a decir algo, ¿sabes? Más concreto. Pero Elden Ring y Lost Ark no se sabía nada, tío. Elden Ring llevan desde el 2000... Pero te voy a bajar un poco. Elden Ring llevan desde el 2019 sin decir nada, tío. Y el Lost Ark tampoco se sabía nada, tío. Lost Ark lleva muchos años. Yo llevo unos cuantos años esperando a que lo sacaran para Europa. Yo lo probé en Rusia hace un año o dos. Y ya lo dejé de jugar porque no me gusta entender las cosas y tal. Y luego he estado esperando hasta ahora. Entonces yo creo que con esos tres juegos me quedaría. Quizás más el Ring. Sí, en Rusia Raiden. Porque lo sacaron en Rusia. Y entonces usábamos VPN para jugarlo.
In House of Ashes, lots of the game is set underground, and so these sort of corridors, which are really tight and oppressive.
Creepy.
Yeah, indeed. So we've had to learn because you take.
Bueno, va, enséñame más cosas. Bandai, Namco. Se están explayando mucho, tío. O sea, está bien que cuenten un poco sus experiencias, ¿no? Haciendo el juego, pero no sé. Bueno, estas imágenes sí que son más. ¿Vamos a llevar armas? Vamos. Sería la primera vez en Dark Pictures. Parece que sí, ¿eh? Vamos a llevar como un shooter. Tercera persona. Eso cambiará mucho la jugabilidad, ¿eh? Yo creo, del juego.
We want to allow you to play the game in your way. So with our accessibility settings and difficulty settings, if you want to have a more casual experience, you can change those settings. Still, most of your characters are going to end up dead, but you know, that's
spoilers,
what happens,
yeah.
Indeed.
But that's what we come here for. That's okay. We can deal with it. So I've got to ask, what was it like working with Ashley?
So
Concepto más raro tiene la tía, ¿no?
She researched Rachel. She understood her when she came on the set.
Bueno, el tío
It's so
también.
refreshing. She knew her inside out. And Rachel is a flawed character, so she brought that through so fantastically. The rest of the cast were fantastic as well.
When we were looking for Joey, Salim helped me.
You didn't tell me this because...
Ese actor es...
We want you to connect to
El
these
de...
characters,
Hostia.
understand them as humans. We want them to seem real because they're real
El
to
de
us.
Spartaco.
We spend a long
El
time
de...
designing them, and I
El de
don't mind
Spartacus,
if you hate
tío.
any one individual character because you don't like everyone in real
El
life.
que era,
But maybe you'll like
era
them when
cojo.
you see the journey they go on.
Maybe you'll like them once they're dead and you feel bad about it.
And you feel bad about it, definitely.
Yeah.
But also we want you to
Están hablando del juego como si fuese el puto Goti.
We know that some people want to get everyone killed straight away, and that's fine. That's their playthrough.
Eso es verdad, eso es verdad.
But, you know, can you get everyone out alive and save as many as you can?
There's a lot of replayability there.
Indeed,
Goes on forever. I like that. So, last question. Favorite scene?
Favorite scene. So,
¿Qué ha dicho? ¿Qué le ha preguntado?
Our Iraqi soldier and Jason Kolchak, one of the Marines that's there.
Ah, vale, su escena
There's
favorita.
a way that can play out and a sort of contest between them, and you can make it go in a number of different ways.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
It's really emotional seeing them film.
El enemigo de mi enemigo es mi amigo.
And then seeing that come through in game, I think we've got something there. I think that's gold. And then of
Va a
course,
ser rollo Alien o algo así, ¿eh? En plan...
the moments of tension that we bring.
Quiero
we
ver
can't hold you in that moment, so we've got some fantastic jokes.
Nah, no les queda mucho, yo creo.
Allow you to relax for a moment before we scare you again.
To take your mind off the imminent threat. I like that. Dan, thank you so much. This has been really cool to talk about, and I'm sure, you know, I'm excited and terrified in equal part, and everyone else is just excited, I'm sure of it.
And it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, and I can't wait to get it into people's hands.
It's going to happen.
Ya está. Venga, que hemos aguantado. Me mola la figurita esa, ¿eh? Me mola, me mola. Pero a saber cuánto cuesta. Oye, ¿para PC? ¿No ponía nada? Venga, más cositas, por favor. Son de vampiro.
Tired old blades nobody cares about, but this Blade 14 RTX 3080 built right in. Of course, the Razer.
I'm taking that.
Thank you so much. No, I'm taking that.
Okay, we'll fight.
Okay, we'll
ya están haciéndose el graciosete de nuevo.
I'll be little brother. I'll take the outdated. Nobody wants these anymore, right? Doesn't worry. Golden Boy, you just saw the Dark Pictures anthology.
Yeah.
Your first glimpse of it. We have some reactions from you.
Oh, you do?
They were recording you. They said you were a little scared, not terrified.
Not terrified, thankfully, because it was just a normal trailer, which is fine.
See,
now, there's my face.
You're unsettled for sure.
¿Qué coño dicen?
Yeah, don't like that. No, not a fan of that one.
Ahora es el mismo tío, ¿no?
Nope.
Yeah, I think that was one of the jump scares in the trailer. I got the willies there at the end too. Yeah. I am not crazy about horror.
Sure.
I was actually talking to the crew at the back, and I said, it really takes a very twisted mind to come up with these things. But it is impressive, though.
Yeah.
Right? You heard there in the interview, Dan saying like, oh yeah, I love the jump scares. I live for the jump scares. It's
60 different death animations is what that was something he wanted to make sure, because of course this is a choose your own adventure. If you've never played a Dark Picture anthology, right? You are moving characters in a third person. You jump around. It's like you're watching a movie. You make choices. Those choices leads to different permutations, different setups, different settings,
mucho rato
which
sobre
leads to
este juego,
different deaths or no deaths if you're really, really good. But that's the idea, right? Is that you're playing in your own horror movie is developing, and then gives you the reason to replay it.
Yeah. Also, a pleasant surprise for me was that Ashley Tisdale is in it. I didn't know that going into it, which I was like, wow, this is definitely an upgrade from High School Musical. This is definitely a quick turnaround.
Sure.
Big different genre. But yeah, and I think also because we had the VO panel yesterday, which was great.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, right? Like the impact that video games are having. Hollywood stars coming in, lending their voice, lending their face, their acting, their skills to this, really bringing these characters to life is just going to add even more layers to this horror.
That's a huge thing. If you've never played before, performance
vamos.
Huge deal for Supermassive. They go through, they use the facial animation. They want you to feel like you're watching a movie. So we will see soon enough how the Dark Pictures anthology pans out this time around with House of Ashes. But for now, let's toss it over to the one, the only.
Va.
Brothers in
¿Qué es esto?
arms, or each man for himself. Survival depends on choice. Will you find the path to save everyone, or be lost in the darkness? I'm sorry, I'm just a little excited about this title. Dan, I saw you taking lots of notes. You were taking notes about the mechanics, actually, but I know you're really thrilled with the story as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I am here
Pero
for
¿qué le
this.
pasa a esta
I'm a
gente?
big old history nerd, so I was super stoked to hear more about the setting. It's really tying in a lot of ancient lore about the Akkadian Empire. You have Naram Sin, this guy who declared himself like the god king of the Akkadian Empire and desecrated this temple, and now it's coming back to haunt us in modern day. It's also interesting to use the Iraq War as a setting. It is definitely a fraught time period and event during which to set a game, but also I think a rich sort of backdrop for horror in this setting, because you're tapping into sort of Mesopotamian mythology of Pazuzu, this king of wind demons who's tormenting all of these soldiers, and I'm really excited to see what they can do. I told you I was taking notes. I did some research. I'm excited. I can't wait to experience all 60 death animations.
Yo votaría el
I
1, la
know the
verdad.
60 unique deaths. Okay, Avi-chan's face right now is just killing me. Avi, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that if I'm ever trapped in like a dark cave, I'm probably going to
La peña pone otra.
because he understands what we should be doing.
Está
King
votando
of
el
what
otro.
now? You're looking up all this history on Pazuzu?
He's the king of wind demons. No big deal.
Come on, everybody knows that. I don't even know what the King of Wind Demons is. What was it?
Oh, he's Pazuzu.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
You may remember him
Pazuzu.
from The Exorcist as well.
Yes. Okay. Avi, you were obviously a big fan of the.
Me encanta la democracia.
Just like I could go on. Exactly. I was like, okay. But Avi, we've been talking about Resident Evil Village like at length. We both like horror survival. But also,
En plan,
like
a ver,
when someone's playing with
más que
us, I thought that
suspense,
it's great that it's
buscan un
co-op,
juego de
so
terror, ¿no? A lo
we
mejor.
can be scared together while we play.
Yeah, I'm just going to
Y
be
en,
sitting
y en este
behind
juego,
Dan and watching him play,
no
because
sé,
that's exactly
lo van a
what I
hacer un
did
poco
with
más
Until
acción,
Dawn,
¿no?
because I'm like, cool, I can't hold a controller and, you know, try to guide these
Parece ser,
teenagers to safety. I'm going to
que
step
no
on
lo
a
creo
branch
así.
and individually
Parece
kill them all.
como
But Dan
una
was going into like the history of all
expedición
of it, and I'm going
a algún
like, oh, 2003,
sitio
that's a little too close.
como una
I
cueva o
didn't
algo
pass all my
y
history
hay como
classes, but
bichos,
I
¿no?
hope
Por
that
así decirlo,
Pazuzu doesn't, you know,
como
pop
monstruos.
up anywhere in a textbook. But something that was really interesting for me when we were going through the trailers and going through that little dev talk is that
Bueno.
they showed us Pazuzu. They
A ver,
showed us the monster.
por cierto, ¿se escucha demasiado alto?
Si
se escucha demasiado alto me lo decís, ¿eh? Lo he bajado un poco, ¿eh? Ahora, pero si se escucha ahora abajo me lo decís. Tratan de exprimir Until Dawn y la están cagando. Bueno, el Until Dawn... ¿Esta gente son los de Until Dawn?
You two would fall into the depths together, and then I would somehow be stuck with Michael, and he'd be like talking about JRPGs.
El Until Dawn yo no lo he jugado, ¿eh? Lo tengo pendiente. Es buen juego, ¿no? Me han dicho. Es una copia, pero no sé si es el mismo estudio.
One thing I want to say about this one is the free cam controls. That's different for Supermassive, so I'm going to wonder how that works because
Until Dawn está muy chulo. Pues ya lo... Mira, será uno de los juegos... Mira, me lo voy a apuntar y así no se me olvida. Será uno de los juegos que le demos caña los viernes.
It's just something new from them, so I just want to see how that plays out, especially when I'm with a bunch of other people trying to get very skilled.
And Damon, I know you're all about retro games, but I also know you love a good story. I know for me, I felt like this had a lot of heart. There was dialogue that we saw, and it really hit me to my core.
Yeah, and they showed the actors doing the motion capture. I love horror movies. I love horror games. I'm a kind of a gore hound. I love blood and guts, and I love kill gags. Whoa. So like, I'm looking forward to see all the inventive and clever ways that Pazuzu is going to kill our soldier friends.
Oh boy. I just like saying Pazuzu, even though it's absolutely horrifying. Yes. Anyways, Goms, I can't talk. Games have changed and evolved so much over the years, and with those changes, so has the coverage of our favorite games. Outlets like PC Gamer, IGN, Polygon, and GameSpot have all led the way in gaming coverage, and for the first time ever, we've assembled the editors-in-chief of all those organizations and our Voices of E3 series. Take a look.
Vale, ha apuntado.
Hello, welcome back. My name is Chris String. 2021. My name is Chris String. I run GamesIndustry.biz, which is one of the world's biggest video games business websites. And joining me today to talk about E3 and the future of games in general are some of the biggest names in the video games.
Este ahora que nos cuenta ahora. Hostia, hace un poco de...
But rather than me do the introductions, I like to pass over to the panel. Hello,
un poco de calor.
Who are you? What do you do? How did you get here?
¿Y esto, Benito, les ha gustado del juego ese?
I'm Christopher Thomas Plant. That's my full birth name.
¿Siguen hablando sobre el juego?
Say it really fast. I'm the editor-in-chief of Polygon.com, and it's a website.
Thanks. This is Ed Lottie over at PC Gamer. I'm the editor-in-chief.
Hi everybody, Tina Amini, editor-in-chief of IGN. I don't have a cool Christmas Twitter name, but I do have a really cool Halloween Twitter name that someone gave to me, which is Tina Aminityville. So that's all I got.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Randolph Ramsey. I'm the editorial director from GameSpot. I go by Randy in this country because while it's okay to be called Randy in America, if you say that anywhere else in the world, you will be met with sniggers. You can't say, hi, I'm Randy, to anyone else out there.
Yeah, it's definitely true for us in the UK. So asking to all of you here, what does sort of E3 sort of represent to you? I don't know if I want to pick on somebody, but Randy, maybe.
It's difficult to separate E3 as a professional working
Vaya tostón, tío.
as a fan. I've been in business.
Venga, a ver si nos ponen algún tráiler de algo guapo, tío.
E3 to me,
Aunque repitan el del ring, tío, me da igual.
You know, being overworked, not having enough sleep.
Que me lo repitan.
But I think, you know, outside of the professional stuff, I think E3 for me, you know, it allows me the chance.
Y el Scarlet Nexus también lo tienen que poner. Sale a finales de este mes. O sea, quiero decir, tiene que hacerle promoción como sea. Y en el E3 es una buena promoción. Es un RPG animado. Muy chulo, la verdad. Yo si no lo juego ahora, lo jugaré más adelante seguro. Porque me parece un buen juego. Bueno, tampoco he visto tanto, o sea, quiero decir, lo primero que he visto sí que me ha llamado la atención. Mira, a ver, espérate. Igual lo puedo poner... Mientras que están aquí haciendo el tonto, le voy a poner aquí. Es este de aquí. Estábamos viendo un tráiler antes.
And psychokinesis abilities. Or Kasane, cool, rational, and indifferent to those around her. Kasane is an elite soldier who graduated top of her class after being scouted by the OSF for her exceptional fighting skills and power. She tends to be unapproachable and causes friction with those around her. But she can also be very kind to those she has opened up to. She fights at range with a combination of ranged, multi-blade attacks and psychokinesis
Son como unos miembros de guardianes o algo así.
The ability to move objects freely by using their minds.
Y tienen habilidades psicológicas, bueno, psicológicas no, psíquicas. Psicológicas digo yo.
And their powers using SAS. Hanabi and her pyrokinesis will be Yuito's first ally. And Shiden and his electrokinesis, Kasane's. Throughout their adventures, they will be able to fight alongside Arashi and her hypervelocity, Kagero and his invisibility, Kyoka and her duplication, Sugumi and her clairvoyance, Luca and his teleportation, and finally Gemma and his sclerokinesis. Synet's hyperconnectivity to all your party will allow you to protect New Himuka and humanity.
No sé. ¿Ves? El 25 de junio sale. ¿Solo para equipos? Estos se han equivocado, ¿eh? Esto sale también para PC y para Play, creo que también era. Sí que salía para... a ver, ¿cuál es el siguiente? Esos son juegos de Bandai Namco, que los estábamos viendo antes. Los podemos ver mientras que en el E3 no están ahí, están de charla, la verdad. A ver, ¿juegos este? Habíamos visto también el Elden Ring otra vez. Uno de tales también. Es que, tío, para lo que están haciendo en el E3 es que flipo, tío. Es que no me merece la pena ni verlo, tío.
Peggy 12.
Hombre, en el otro monitor, en el segundo monitor tengo el E3. Si veo que ponen algo, lo pongo rápido. El Dragon Ball Z Kakarot lo tengo que retomar. No sé cuándo, pero lo tengo que retomar. Están metiendo contenido. No sé, me mola, tío. No sé por qué dejé de jugarlo. Creo que es porque empezó una temporada de Conqueror's Blade o algo. Y entre unas cosas y otras lo dejé de jugar. ¿Eso es contenido nuevo? Para flipar, aún están con la conferencia esa, tío. Madre mía. ¿Esto qué es la pelea entera o qué? Quiero saber cuándo sale, tío. No quiero ver gameplay. ¿El 11 de junio sale? Y el primer episodio ya está disponible, el segundo también. Joder, lo que me he perdido, ¿no? Una nueva historia. Qué guapo, tío. No quiero esto, tío.
Peggy 12.
Van a sacar un segundo juego de...
To my heroic figure. Begin the recording, La Brava.
I'm already filming.
Here I come.
Yeah.
Let's be gentlemen. Sandwich.
For you.
For you. It must be changed, even if by force. I will show you greatness.
That's a great shot.
It's not just my dream.
Gentle.
Thank you, La Brava.
I love you.
¿Y esto? Pasan full. Ah, vale, pero es en plan jaja. En plan jajilla.
Let the show begin.
¿Cuánto tiempo sin jugar al Tekken, chaval?
The Tekken 7 online challenge continues.
Are you gonna deal with it? Not like this. He's dead.
That was so wet.
Oh, that was so sick.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, he broke the windshield in his first try. The final boss pulls through. What is that? Go to the wall. I would get up attack. The blue stuff.
Oh my god. Oh, he whipped. He whipped.
¿Se escucha bien? Igual se escucha muy fuerte, ¿eh? Si se escucha muy fuerte me lo decís. Que a mí yo lo escucho bien, pero en la barra del OBS me está saltando muy fuerte, no sé. ¿Eso del 6 de enero qué? No, esto será el 1 de junio, ¿no?
Peggy 3.
Tío, siguen sin enseñar nada, tío, en el E3.
Welcome to Family Trainer.
Estoy flipando, Es que es mejor lo que he puesto yo que lo que tienen ellos.
Run, and stomp your way through a variety of heart-pumping minigames. Turn your in-game movements into real-world exercises. With both the
La peña en el
Nintendo
chat está
Joy-Con
poniendo que se
controllers
duerme.
and leg strap,
Me parto.
work out your entire body.
challenge yourself with over a dozen mini.
Mira, el Scarlet Nexus. Creo que el lore, la historia de este juego creo que va a estar chula, tío. Además de los combates que pueden ser interesantes.
Now we're talking. Hanabi, let's go.
Over.
Está la demo en PlayStation y también en Xbox, por lo que parece. La familia Adam, chaval. Madre mía. No me he visto yo la serie esta de pequeño. Me acuerdo de lo de la manita esta, tío, que se movía sola.
Peggy 12.
¿Una edición qué?
Intruder! You will go no further. Guards! Seize him!
The preparations are complete.
¿Esto es niño Puni?
This doesn't look good.
Están enseñando cosas. Para.
At the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews.
Ah, no, se están despidiendo.
IGN Summer of Gaming begins right now.
Se están despidiendo, tío.
More power.
¿Qué dices? No me lo creo, tío. Que han enseñado solamente el Dark Pictures, tío.
It's so fun, and the thing is, I'm super competitive too. I'm just like, bet you think
No
you're
te
gonna get
creo,
top
tío.
20? Get out of here. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Get bunched on. It's my first session. I got like top 30. The next session it was top 20, and then the third session forward it was top 10. I see what I want, and I go get it. I want my first place, and they're gonna give it to me. I don't care if I don't get first place. It's fine, but that's like the mentality I have for it. And yeah, I'm actually super competitive.
Thanks to our sponsors at DoorDash. Get more from your neighborhood, from restaurants and convenience to grocery and corner stores. All right, folks, well, we got some more great games coming our way, no question about it, but what is it that draws us into a game's story? Is it a whodunit, maybe becoming a heroic protagonist, perhaps? Or maybe it's just a story that makes us laugh, that keeps us coming back. When we return, more on what stories we love in our games.
¿Cómo? ¿Qué tipo de troleo es este, tío? Toma ahí, promoción.
Gaming has officially partnered with the ESA for E3 2021. IGN Summer of Gaming is now all summer long.
Ah, ya está. Esto no van a enseñar nada más, gente.
IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals, to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews. IGN Summer of Gaming has it all.
Esto terminado ya. Vale, voy a quitar esto. Vale, y voy a terminar de ver el tráiler este de Ni no Kuni que estábamos viendo. Y ya cerramos. Pero el de Ni no Kuni, tío, ¿no era como una especie de Pokémon? O sea, que tenías tus compañeros y tal que peleaban contigo. Buenas, Cross. Algo interesante en la de hoy. Nada nuevo, Cross. Nada nuevo. Otro chasco. Si se puede llamar chasco. Nada interesante. Nada, y esto lo vamos a quitar. Yo también. El Ni no Kuni. El Ni no Kuni no es que vas con un compañero, un animal compañero peleando contigo. ¿O no es así? Ah, ¿no? Vale. Pues entonces no tengo ni puta idea de Ni no Kuni. De Tarkov enseñaron el trozo del mapa. Cross. Bueno, esto. Nada, fuera. Vamos a dejarlo aquí. Así que por aquí, por hoy. La conferencia de Bandai Namco, madre mía. Otro chasco más.